It's not even like... So what? It's a curse? Yeah, what is it? I'm sorry. PG-13 GameDay Huddle.
What is going on here? This is nuts. Guys, welcome to the GameDay Huddle. Steve, J-Up is here. The Godfather has made his way back.
Yes.
And Warehouse Boys, the Warden's in the building. Dave is with us again. Dave, we brought you back because it's been a lot of fun with the last few weeks with you.
Yeah, this should be interesting.
Crowd favorite. I see
is.
it in all the comments. Oh, Dave's there. Hey, Dave. Yeah.
We got a new subscriber today.
Crowd favorite.
Dave.
Yeah,
Yep.
we did.
We did.
Yeah, his brother.
Absolutely.
His brother. He only did 48 shows. Now he's subscribed.
This is episode 52. This
there you
is
go.
1 year of episodes.
That's pretty
You
good.
were on
1
episode
year.
50, as a matter of fact.
I was on the...
Yeah, you were on the
Alright.
50.
Yeah, episode 50.
Guys, thanks for being here. Of course, we come to you each and every week. Right here on YouTube and in our Facebook group. If you haven't joined our Facebook group, please make sure you do that. Game Day Sports Cards on Facebook. We've got a lot of stuff going on, and we're jumping into it this week because there's a lot of stuff to discuss, I think, and I think some of it's kind of interesting for sure. So it's a portion of the program we call games from this weekend. And I'm kicking off the show today a little out of left field for you guys. Justin Fields. Oh my gosh.
He's a great running back.
That's right.
Whatever gets fantasy points.
Justin Fields has been going off.
Definitely not getting wins.
Didn't get a win. But he's playing well, and I think that bodes well in the hobby. Especially for the 21 class of stuff, because we've had some fall-offs, guys get injured, guys not performing as well as we thought they would. Mm-hmm. Even guys like Trevor Lawrence that not playing bad, but not playing well enough to win. So Justin Fields had a really nice week. I guess the thing is, I know it's more of a fantasy question, but it's starting to be posed. Is he the best fantasy quarterback at this point?
No, he's actually shot all the way to like number 3 though in leagues where you get 5 points or 6 points for touchdowns. He's shot up number 3
because he's rushing.
Because he's rushing for so many points. So like he's putting up running back numbers, and oh by the way, he's throwing like a touchdown or even 2 as a quarterback. So you're getting that dual threat. It's kind of like Lamar Jackson. Like Lamar Jackson, the Ravens go out and win every game. He's never won any Super Bowls, but he goes out there and he gets you fantasy points with his feet. And his throwing. So.
Is this sustainable for him, do you think? Because in a hobby standpoint, if it's sustainable, it's going to be good.
It's going to be sustainable until defenses figure it out.
Correct.
So give them the rest of this year, because the team's not very good. So I don't think much of the defensive coordinators are like shaking in their boots when they're going against the Bears.
Correct.
But going into next year, oh yeah, they'll figure him out just like they did Lamar Jackson. Then he'll have to go back to the drawing board and actually learn how to throw the ball.
Yep.
Is he a guy that you think that's going to be able to do that?
Run every week?
He's from Ohio State, right?
So probably not.
You know Jay's filling on every Ohio State quarterback.
Oh,
so.
Of course.
What's that? I didn't
Ohio
hear
State,
that.
Ohio State quarterbacks, you don't draft them in the NFL. They don't win games. Ohio State quarterbacks.
CJ Stroud next year?
He's like number 2 pick, 2, 3 pick.
Congratulations! If you're in a draft with me and I draft first, you're not. You can have CJ Stroud at 2. Deal?
Interesting.
Trade back.
I'm telling you right now, I'm not taking Ohio State quarterbacks.
Back.
I'm not
taking CJ Stroud.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. It's the record's not good, so it's hard to argue.
I just
wide
wonder,
receivers, okay, yeah.
Yeah, wide receivers are stacked.
I've seen him over this year, towards the end of last year. He had kind of a fall off last year. It was a whole fumbled the ball, threw ball into traffic a lot. This year, it looks like Justin Fields, when he is throwing the ball, is making better decisions. I don't know if that's better.
He
coaching.
still has no
He's got a new
weapons.
coach. He's got no weapons.
No.
Darnell Mooney's his best receiver.
Right.
He, as you've said, is the best running back. The thing is that is he getting better, though, as a quarterback? Because that's kind of, if you think about it, it's almost like the Jalen Hurts thing. Like, people kind of knocked Jalen Hurts the first 6-8 games he played, running too much, not throwing the ball like he should. And even he started the season off, if you recall, he only had like 1 touchdown passing through like 3 games, but they were winning.
He had a lot of rushing yards.
Yeah, he had rushing touchdowns, right? And then now it's kind of turning the corner. And my thing is that it just is, are we seeing Justin Fields actually study the game and get better, or is Justin Fields just an athlete that just happens to be taking advantage of teams not preparing for him like they would other teams?
No, what happened was basically having Nagy there as their coach last year. They drafted Fields, and then he tried to change what he is.
Right.
He's a running quarterback, okay, and he tried to put him in the pocket and make him throw, and he just wasn't good. So you get Nagy out of there, and now the coaching staff in Chicago is actually like, hey, let's play to his strengths. His strengths are getting out of the pocket and making something happen. And so you're playing to his strengths. Now, it's not translating into wins right now.
No.
So like Jimmy said, no one's going to be scared of it. Like you're going to take a little bit of damage, right? And he's going to put up some big numbers, but they're not going to win the game. They're losing to Detroit. And that was in Chicago too, wasn't it? So you're in Chicago, you're losing to Detroit, which is not a good road team. I think it was said that like they've lost like 15, 16 road games in a row, like in the division,
it was
or something like that.
24-10, and then it was 24-24 within 25 seconds of
I
game
mean,
time.
Armon Ross St. Brown had an absolute monster.
Yeah,
game.
and Jeff Okuda had a touchdown. They scored, interception, touchdown. All of a sudden, it was 24-24, and it was.
It's just they're playing to his strengths.
But they actually answered back though.
How does this outlook affect his hobby though? Is it only strictly off of wins is going to make his cards go up, and that's it?
No, absolutely not. Everybody looks at numbers.
No, right.
So if he's putting up numbers, just like the Lamar Jackson train
Yeah.
of 2019 is when Lamar Jackson went crazy,
Yeah.
and everybody was all over that hype train. Everybody's going to be all over the Justin Fields hype train. But hear me first. I wouldn't be on that hype train. I'm not going out there buying anything Justin Fields. I'll sell you every Justin Fields card you want. I even have 2 nice jerseys in here. I'll sell you.
And that's my thing. I think it's definitely a time to sell Justin
Two
Fields.
different
Good
colors, too.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It is. I'll tell you who is not getting sold in Vegas. That is Josh McDaniels. This is kind of a joke that this meme was out there. It says every week the NFL should hire a guy off the couch to see if they can beat Josh McDaniels.
Saw it earlier.
Jeff Saturday comes into Las Vegas. And I'm going to tell you now, I don't know if the guy's an evil genius or just not that smart, but I'm going to say this. I said this was good for the Colts franchise last week. I did, and I believe that.
Because he's a face.
Because he's a face of and for the Colts franchise, it was good. But everybody was going Sam Ellinger, Sam Ellinger, Sam Ellinger. And then he trots Matt Ryan out onto the field, unannounced. No one knew he was the starter before a game. And puts it out there and then goes and wins the game. And it included this, like... It reminded me of that late in his career John Elway run down the middle of the field, and he's not running very fast. He looks like it hurts when he runs. Matt Ryan had like this 25-yard run that looked like he hurt.
Oh,
and
it was like a 40,
huge.
It was a 40-something
yard.
run.
It
And
was
he
the
was like,
slowest 40 yards.
Both
career.
Jay was at the game, so
Yeah.
was I. I went to the game yesterday to watch it. Oh my God. Embarrassing, right?
When he ran it, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like when he ran that, it was almost 45
I guarantee
yards.
you, I'm faster than Matt Ryan,
And it was
and I'm not fast
that's
at all.
Got to be the longest run of his career.
Yeah.
But I did think
Slow.
it
It
was
looked
funny that
slow.
right before the game they announced that they were activating him because he had been out with an injury, and they were activating him, and he was going to serve as the backup. And then the game starts, and I'm like, "That's number 2. That's Matt Ryan." Like Ellinger was even on the starting lineup, so it's like. Jeff Saturday is there to win. He's not there to help them tank and get a better pick next year. So, like, he's there, and he's like, I'm sure he's like a no-nonsense type of guy. He played with Peyton Manning. And so he's seen the way, it needs to be run. And he's won Super Bowls with Peyton Manning. So I'm sure he went in there like, I'm not trying to get this kid some extra playing time. I'm trying to win a game. Mm-hmm. So Matt Ryan's our best choice.
So to be honest with you, our seats are so high up, our season tickets that my brother and I have, that I didn't even know it wasn't Sam Ellinger in there until he threw the first touchdown pass. He threw the first touchdown pass, and they're like, Matt Ryan over the lots.
You can see the number 2 on the back of the jersey?
I wasn't even paying attention. I'm like, I thought for sure Ellinger was starting. I didn't know until after the first touchdown. I'm like,
I'm telling you.
did they say Ryan?
That's
What?
got to go down.
Sharp.
That has to go down as one of the greatest magician moves by a coach in a long time, because there is nobody, not an analyst anywhere, nobody said, I think Matt Ryan will start. No one had a guess. It was none of that.
It was very Bill Belichick.
Yeah, and nobody really cared. Like it was what it was. But you could tell he wanted to win that game.
But you know who would have cared is the sports books.
Yes.
Because
For sure
the
they
Raiders
would have
came
cared.
out at early. It's like a 5.5 or 6 point lead, and I think it came down to a spread, 5-point spread.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember talking about it with James, and I said, there's no way the Raiders are winning this game by 5 points. And then Matt Ryan starts, and I was like, for sure they're not covering this spread. And then Colts went straight up.
And the offensive coordinator never called plays ever.
No,
Ever. For the Colts. Never called plays ever.
It just shows you
It's
this.
the craziest thing ever. I didn't even know
If you
that.
have athletes, is the NFL that easy? Is that what this
When you
is?
play the Raiders, yes, it is. Because when you have a team that's given up, the team has absolutely given up on their coach. They've given up on their players. There's a couple guys who still care on the team. As for
The one
if
that
you're
cried?
Derek Carr cried on the podium about his coach.
he cares, but he's too stupid to know that you have the best wide receiver in the game playing on your team. There's no wide receiver better than Devontae Adams in the NFL. If you just take your eyes and watch him every single play, he is open 95% of the time. All you have to do is get it within this 7-foot window, and he will catch it. He's unbelievably good. Like, did you watch him? Like, how wide open is he throughout the whole game?
Yeah, and the only time he misses it is when Carr throws it late.
Yes.
Like on the
And
pass,
it's
like he throws it
behind
late,
him
and it's
when
like
he's-
this, and it's like, and the guy slaps away. It's not because he's not getting separation.
Or he
it's
throws him
because it's
into
behind him.
a defender.
Correct.
It's like, what do you... Oh, my God. The very second play of the game, wide open, running, directly a seam route right down the middle. There's not a defender within 15 yards of him.
Yeah.
And he looks back like, who the hell are you looking...
Yeah.
They threw it to Cole, like on a 10-yard in route.
Yeah.
And it hits him right off the chest.
Remember what
And
I said?
Dropped 2 passes
Yes.
yesterday.
Remember I go,
Unbelievable.
Devontae Adams is open. Well, there's a shocker.
Yeah.
Like, he's just open all the time, and Carr just continually looks any other way he can.
Well, the question becomes here, okay. Vote of confidence comes out today. Davis says, I think that McDaniels is doing a great job.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of adversity.
Yeah, they're 2-7.
He's got guys that are hurt. All this stuff. You know, Renfro's hardly played.
He made
Waller's hardly
a
played.
comment, too, about the draft
Right.
picks. That
And,
Yeah.
exactly.
he's
So-
done terrible in the first-round draft
Yeah,
picks.
the last 2 years in the first round.
Just
and
terrible.
They've got 4 or 5 first-round
They
picks.
just let
They cut
Abrams
3 of them.
walk.
They cut
They
3 of them.
let
Well,
Abrams walk to Green Bay.
Henry
He was
Ruggs.
a first
They
freaking
still had to cut
rounder.
They
Right.
used Abrams' pick for Dallas to get
Yeah.
for Amari Cooper. If you can't throw the ball to Amari Cooper, now I'm starting to see how bad Derek Carr is.
Yeah. So the question becomes, is Derek Carr a Raider next year? I think he's a draft day move. I think Derek Carr gets moved.
How many years does he have left?
I think he has one or two
Two.
on his
He
contract,
has 2 left.
right? But I think he gets moved. Raiders are probably going to be in that lottery of drafting one of the top, 3.
Right now, they have the number 2 pick.
Yeah, they're
going
going to be drafting one of the top 3 quarterbacks
CJ
coming out.
Stroud.
Stroud,
There
maybe.
There you go. That's
Bryce
right.
Young's going to be there.
He's just so
Jesus.
mad.
You guys know.
Man.
You guys
Okay.
know my choice is what is it? Riddle from Utah. The kid from Utah.
But he's
a
not
big
gonna go
kid.
that high.
Yeah,
I
he's
think
like-
whoever gets him is going to get a very good quarterback, and I think that that's just my take on it. But we talk about this quarterback plan. We talk about the situation. You've had fans for years calling for Derek Carr. Even the fact that he was an MVP candidate 4 years ago and then got hurt, and then you're continuing to see just these issues. And I know they made the playoffs last year, and let's be fair, none of us thought they should have made the playoffs.
What
last
have you
year.
done for me lately?
Neither did the Pittsburgh Steelers deserve, and they both went. I don't know. The Derek Carr thing is really interesting because now that he has such a dynamic receiver and he's not getting him the ball, if you're in the front office, I think you have to address that.
Especially with what type of season Josh Jacobs is having. Josh Jacobs is having his best career or season in his career so far. And so you have a running back that's putting up those big-time numbers.
Yeah.
You have a wide receiver that's the best in the league. You have a tight end. Yes, he hasn't played much this year, but even the backup tight ends.
Yeah, Foster Moreau's good.
Moreau's pretty solid.
He had a big drop, but he's good.
But he's a solid tight end. He's not bad. I think he would make every NFL team as a tight end. You got to win with that many weapons. You have to be putting up points, and you have to be putting up consistently every single week, and they're just not doing it.
They're not, and it's coming down to coaching. I don't think that we would have sat here because we didn't at the beginning of the season. None of us were going to sit here and say that we thought there's a chance that Josh McDaniel would get fired before Nathaniel Hackett, and now we're sitting here going, well,
he's already guaranteed next year.
Broncos know that they're coming back next year. Daniel Hackett's going to go through the year at least. At this point.
But they're both going to make it a year because it's their first year coaching. So it's like, I don't know. Like, to me,
And
I
I'm-
don't think either one of those guys gets fired mid-season.
And I'm not big on firing somebody the first year. I want to see somebody.
they're rookie.
Yes, I want to see somebody come in, give them the first year. If they don't do anything by the end of their second year, then I'm looking to get off of them.
I think
But
the
you got to
problem-
give them time to put in their schemes, put in their coaches, give them time to work the system. You can't just like in and out, or you're going to be like the Cleveland Browns. You're never going to have a scheme that works, and everything's
true.
a mess. Give the coaches a little bit of time, and if you look around the league, the teams that consistently win are those teams that have coaches that give them time and they actually amount to, not everybody wins right away. It's a hard league to win in.
Yep. Not a ton of talk about it, but Dolphins went out and handled business. They look really good. And a note that I got on the way in today that I caught, I didn't realize that this was the case. Tua Tagovailoa is a passer rating of 118 for the season, and the next closest guy is at 100.
Well, if you actually watch the games, Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill make Tua look amazing.
Yeah.
He underthrows them guys or overthrows those guys so much, but they're so gifted, they go out and get the ball. Every Tyreek Hill touchdown has been underthrown this year, where he has to stop, catch it, make a move, score. It's like
That
constantly.
offense, though, is on fire because they're running.
That coach
they're-
is doing a
they're
good
running with Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert, and both guys are getting 100 yards on the ground. And to me, that's just ridiculous. Like, that team is clicking on all cylinders, and it's also they're undefeated when Tua has started and ended the game.
Yeah.
They're undefeated.
And they've got a really nice line, which I think is obviously that's a big part of it. Their line has played really well this year, outside of the one game where Tua got the second concussion, not the first one. The first one was a dirty play. The second one, they played a little shoddy that game, but outside of that line's played well. And you guys know, getting deep in the season, a good offensive line will take you a long ways. Remember, we sat here on this podcast at the beginning of the year and said the sneaky MVP play was Tua because of what Jimmy just said. Because these receivers were going to make him better, he was going to get extra yards on short throws.
Yeah.
All these things that are happening are actually happening now. Now he's up in the favorites as an MVP.
Well, they're in first place in the East because of the Buffalo Bills meltdown yesterday.
Oh yeah, and that
Bills haven't won a game in the conference.
Let's get into that. Let's
It's
talk
wild,
about that
dude.
Buffalo Bills
Crazy.
meltdown. So Vikings go in to Buffalo.
Yeah. In the snow.
And they've talked about how
They shouldn't have not have been in close. Not even close in
not
this
even
game.
close in this game. And they talked about how Minnesota even almost discussed the fact that they were intimidated going to Buffalo, that it was going to be the loudest place that they play this year, all these things that they're saying in the media, and then come out and have the game. Now, I know you say Devontae Adams is the best receiver in football, but there's a guy that is a very close second, and that is Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson looked phenomenal, and he did not look intimidated one bit. Like, I don't think it had anything to do with intimidation.
Cousins might be better than Carr.
I would rather have Kirk Cousins.
I have a really
I'm
hard
starting to
time
think that.
swallowing.
I know,
swallowing
me
that
too.
pill.
As long as they don't put him
I've
on
talked
TV,
so much
they're
trash
fine.
about Cousins being, prime time the whole thing, and the
Yeah.
numbers don't lie. But I got to tell you, he's
Well, the lights
he's
were on
doing a lot better.
yesterday, and
No,
Cousins took care of business yesterday.
With Cousins, he gets it. He knows if he throws it up to Justin Jefferson or throws it up to Adam Thielen, they're gonna go get the ball.
Yep.
He's getting it like Tua. Like, give these guys a chance. You got to get guys downfield. You know how many times the Raiders threw the ball downfield yesterday? Once. The rest of the time was 20 yards and in. Like, that doesn't. You know what the defense then sits on? Everything inside of that. Like, you have
see how
to.
bad that was at the very start of the game. They did it twice. They did it once, and both times were on first down. They threw long bombs, but the first one was to Mac Hollins, and it was 20 yards over his head.
Way over his
Yeah,
head.
20
Yes.
yards. It
Not
wasn't
even
even close. And then the second time they did it, he threw it. I think it was to Devontae Adams, and he had double coverage, and the safety had already come up. There's 3 defenders there, and he threw it up. I was like, I was surprised it wasn't picked. He still threw to him.
No.
And I was like, dude, you're not even giving this guy a chance. Like, it's 1-on-3.
Well, and that what you're talking about, that's been pretty rampant in the NFL this year, and that's kind of what happened in this Bills game. But I'll tell you, from theater standpoint of this Bills and Vikings game,
What a great
the
game.
last minute and a half
Yeah.
of regulation might be the best minute and a half of football
Yeah.
I have watched, and I don't remember how long.
Must see TV.
It started with Minnesota moving the ball down, right? Justin Jefferson had a big catch against the sideline, and then they come down, they get into fourth down, and I just don't get it. You guys mentioned it earlier. They go fourth, and it's a half yard.
Yeah.
This is like less.
they
The
go-
ball was almost
yeah.
They
touching
go
the goal
quarterback
line,
sneak left side.
which is
Kirk
the right
Cousins
play. It's the right play.
Go, but it's Kirk Cousins. You got Dalvin Cook as
No,
your
no, no,
running
no.
back.
Yeah, right.
That's the only thing. There's a few running backs in the NFL, right? Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara. These are goal line guys. If you give them the ball within 2 yards, two chances they're getting
You
in.
think they should have ran the Wildcat?
I mean, I would
Because,
have
I
at
mean,
least handed it off.
But if you hand it off, now you're talking about Dalvin Cook's on the 3. You know what I'm saying? Like
Because he would have got
get
stuffed
it.
anyway.
this
Like,
ball
they were
was
in,
like
yeah.
this far away from the line, so you have to go with quarterback.
You got to
sneak.
go backwards to go forward.
And
Well,
he
then
still
Cousins
almost
gets
made
no
it.
extension because he tucks the ball instead of. If you fumble there, it really doesn't matter, right? But anyways, it's this close, doesn't get in, shuts it down. So now, of course, I turned to Dave and I said, they got to get out of the end zone. And Dave's like, wait, oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm like, they have to get out of the end zone. And Minnesota is pretty good up front, stopping the run. So let's see what happens. And then Josh Allen goes and does the unthinkable. No one thought that he would fumble. He literally didn't even have the ball. Minnesota jumps on it for the touchdown, kicks the extra point, ties the game.
I had the
No.
over in the
Or
second
no.
half.
Took
They
the
took
lead
the
by
lead
three.
by 3.
Took the lead by 3, yeah.
Buffalo marched down to
48
touchdown.
seconds left.
Yeah.
They marched down and
That's
and
how
kicked
easy
the
it
field
is to
goal.
get a field
Like,
goal. It's crazy.
And we talked about that. That 1 minute in the NFL now is all the time in the world for
Yeah.
these teams.
Yeah.
Right? Goes down, ties the game, and then we go to overtime. Right? Go to overtime. Minnesota is moving the ball. Looks like there's no way they're going to get stopped. Then all of a sudden, get in field goal range and they get stopped.
Right.
They kick the field goal. And then that exact thing you guys were talking about on running those plays, Josh Allen has a couple big runs. He throws a couple of good passes, gets things going, and then the pickoff in the end zone by Patrick Peterson was the exact same type play that you're talking about, where they kind of brought it underneath, tried to throw it underneath and come back to the ball rather than hit the guy moving in stride. And you got a good defensive back, and let's be fair, Patrick Peterson he now has 4 interceptions in the red zone in the last 4 weeks. Right? The guy is one of the best defenders in football.
Smart.
He's a
He's smart.
smart
He's been
defender, and he knew what was. You can't tell me the way he jumped that route. He had no
Why is
idea.
Josh
Right
Allen
to
still
him.
throwing
Why
it
did he
though?
throw that?
It makes
Exactly.
Peterson look better. Like he didn't need to make that throw.
Yeah.
He could have
Already in
rushed
field
it
goal
again. Exactly.
But
he didn't need
that
to
was
make
for the
that throw.
tie, and now you tie the game instead of winning.
Well,
so they were going for the win.
Well, when you're not leading the division, a tie is better than a win right there.
I know,
You
but they
have
were going
0
for the win.
wins in the division.
That's 3 interceptions Josh Allen has thrown in the red zone in the last 2
the
weeks.
Jets game he threw 2 awful.
Well,
1 or
and
2
again-
really
And then one-
bad.
and then
It was
one
so
yesterday.
bad.
And
That's
again,
3.
there's that situation, right? Leading up to that with Minnesota, though, this catch is going to be talked about forever.
As we welcome you to Orchard Park with 2 minutes left in a 4-point game. Kirk Cousins back to throw on 4th and 18. He's given time. He wants Jefferson. Climbs the ladder. Oh my goodness! Justin Jefferson
sideline. Did you see
poured
the
it
sideline?
in.
The
The
guy
catch
is-
of his life. But we gotta look back at
Do you
this.
think this is what they teach DBs to do there? When it's 4th and whatever, just knock it down.
How does he maintain
You automatically have the ball.
possession
You don't
all the
need
way
to
through,
intercept.
not allow that
Just
ball to
drive
hit
his
the
arm, do something,
ground,
knock it down.
and he just steals
I'm
it?
just thinking
I play
From
DB
Cam Lewis.
100%. I'm
Yeah.
a DB in that. I'm going for the INT. My
Exactly.
contract has INTs in it for incentives.
Right.
I'm going to get that INT.
That's what I mean. But if he goes
He's an
up
idiot.
and
He
just
should have
goes like
knocked it
this,
down. Yeah.
If he just goes like this down, there's no way he catches that ball.
He
Better
should have
than
knocked
when
it down.
OBJ did it, right?
What?
Against
What
Dallas.
do you mean?
No, OBJ's was for a touchdown. That was like for a first down.
But
That was 4th
That
and
was for the
18.
I
game.
said the catch.
That was 4th
Who
and 18.
cares?
4th and 18.
I didn't
Oh.
say for the situation. The catch.
OBJ was behind him. Like,
That wasn't.
But that was
Oh.
defended too.
oh my god.
What
Oh
were the
yeah,
Giants-
you're
what
right.
were
The
the
Cowboys
Giants-
were defending
what were
on the other
Gi-
one.
What were
He
the
wasn't
Giants'
defended.
record when
Right.
OBJ caught that ball?
Correct.
They just went to the Super Bowl the next year and won it all. I don't know.
Next year.
Next year.
I'm just
How
giving
about
you a hard time.
1972?
That catch, guys.
No, that's the last
one
time
of
the
best-
Cowboys won a Super Bowl.
That is one of the best
95.
catches that we've ever seen.
That was amazing.
It was a
And
great
it's
catch.
unbelievable that catch gets made, and he had full control of it with one hand,
Yeah.
right? And Justin Jefferson isn't the biggest guy on the field,
Right.
you know. It was crazy, but Bills go down. Now Minnesota is absolutely heading the stable up. They're 8-1.
And there's only one team coming out of the North for the playoffs. Like Green Bay, I don't care what swan song they have, they're not going to the playoffs. Minnesota is going to be the only team out of the North.
Minnesota can cruise at 8-1 now.
There's
they
only
can
be
lose 4 games.
There's only be one team
probably
coming
won't,
out of the
but-
South, and there's going to be one team coming out of the West. And so that's what still leaves 3 teams in the East to make the playoffs.
When you talk about that North, when you talk about the Packers.
Great game yesterday.
Packers.
Great game, Cap.
Packers were down
Yes.
14 in the fourth quarter, and all of a sudden Christian Watson looked like he was Devontae Adams.
Because he's going against
Was
rookie. He's going against a
Wide open.
He's going against a first-time cornerback in
But
Bland,
he's a
and a
rookie.
second.
He's a
I know
rookie.
that, but he has Aaron Rodgers throwing to him.
Aaron Rodgers absolutely.
Aaron Rodgers
put
knows how to.
the ball on a dime because there was a couple
Yes.
of those throws
Yeah.
were thrown only where his guy could catch him.
Let's listen to the 2 Cowboy fans here. Let's hear them.
And,
the
so-
referees. All the
You do the
things.
same
Here it
thing,
comes.
so it doesn't
Here
matter.
comes.
You would do
I'm
the
waiting.
exact same thing.
Let's hear it.
I'm blaming everybody.
Yeah.
They're all fired.
Here it comes. Oh, it's a
All
referees.
fired.
Oh, it's a rookie. It's a rookie cornerback. Well,
It
fucking
was.
go pick somebody
Okay.
up then.
Okay.
Like that's your team. He's a rookie.
No,
Oh
hold on a
well,
second.
he got
No, you
burned
can't-
by a rookie.
Can you pick a guy up during the middle of the game when a guy gets a
You could
concussion?
pick up a guy 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, before camp started.
No,
you
he
could
got
pick a
hurt
guy up.
after the trade deadline. Jordan Lewis is out for the year. He was probably the best slot cornerback in football. Probably,
God.
arguably. He was. The numbers
Oh
don't
my
lie.
God.
You need to have a slot cornerback in these leagues. Look how many receivers there are on all these teams. There's the first 3 receivers are so good. You have to. You don't think so? You think you just need one good cornerback?
I'm just saying, you Cowboy fans
it's
are
not-
all the same.
No,
you
we're
make
not. You do the same
You guys
shit.
make
Well,
these
no,
stupid.
You're a Giants fan. You do
Like,
the same shit.
I don't make excuses. They're terrible. We're playing way above our
It's
pay
not an
grade right
excuse.
now.
It's actually you watch the game. You give your analysis of what you see. It's not an excuse.
That they're terrible. When it
How
comes
is
to
Dallas
big,
fucking terrible and they're 6-3, asshole?
He's saying he's in the Giants right now.
I said
Oh.
the Giants are terrible. The Cowboys, I
The
said
Giants keep winning, so they can't be terrible.
they are terrible.
They got more wins than what the 49ers.
We have
I
not
think?
played anybody. Look what happened when we played Seattle. We lost.
beat
When we
the
played
Packers.
the Cowboys, we lost.
Yeah, you beat the
The
Packers
Packers are
in-
terrible. They're
in
4
London. You had to go play them in
5.
London or something to beat them. We don't get
The
that.
Packers are terrible. I blame McCarthy for all of this. I think they.
I don't really care McCarthy. Okay, you can blame McCarthy for whatever you want. If they're going to go for it on 4th down, run the ball.
Why I got to
Third
be an
something.
asshole though?
Because you always do this every time. You do this every time.
The question comes
Because
here.
you
What
do
were
this
the-
every time to me.
The play,
Unbelievable.
touching on what Jay's saying,
Yeah.
the play call.
You do this
The play
every
calls at
time.
the end of the
We're
third
complaining.
quarter. The end of the third quarter and the second possession of the fourth quarter for Dallas was horrendous. It was
terrible.
horrendous play calling.
You're up
There
28
was
to
nothing
14.
creative there to take 3 or 4 yard chunks to just eat up clock and to
Mm-hmm.
methodically move the ball down the field. You've seen Dak trying to complete 25 and 35 yard passes, and right now Dak can't complete.
This is what you
25
told
yard
me.
passes.
Lee, Pollard was 5.2. Davis, who's the third string running back, was 7.6.
Yeah.
And they don't run the ball.
At
then you
the
look
time-
at Aaron Jones, who's 5.8. They don't run the ball either. These coaches just hate running the
Well,
football,
and
apparently.
speaking
It
of
just
not
makes
running-
no sense.
Not running the ball.
Right at LaFleur look like.
So Aaron Rodgers
think that's
took a lot of heat for getting in Matt LaFleur's face, telling him on the 4th down play, run the fucking
Why didn't he
football.
check out of it?
Like, run the football.
It was 3rd down. It was the 3rd down.
Or,
play.
yeah, 3rd down.
It was third
to
down.
Run that football there.
In that situation, though, if you're looking at the clock, there was about 42 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah.
It's 3rd down and 2. 100% of the time, you should have ran that ball.
Yeah.
Why? Because if you don't get it, now they have to burn one of their timeouts
Correct.
to keep time on the clock. If not, then it runs down and you guys go to overtime.
And
Big deal.
instead they-
Instead, you punt it down to Dallas, who has Turpin, who that kid
Yeah.
is lightning. He showed in the preseason. I'm still winning money off this asshole, but because he hasn't scored, he said he was
One-
going to score
one time.
one
One
time this
time.
whole year. It's going to be against the Giants on Thanksgiving. I guarantee it. Watch.
The best part about it is
I
now.
know what's going to happen. I'm calling it now.
I don't want.
for
I was
TD
like, I
on
don't want them to
Thanksgiving.
get OBJ because then he'll never see
See
the
it, yeah.
offensive side of the field.
But that's the right call. You definitely run it. You don't give the ball back to Dallas. At least with 2 timeouts. They should have 1 timeout, getting the ball on the 15-yard line. They're going to run the ball out and go to overtime. Rodgers was 100% right. But they didn't have the killer instinct going for it anyways. They had a minute 40-something when they got the ball back. And they came out there and looked like hell. It's like, wait, what are you guys doing? You're
They were
not
taking
trying to
their
win the
time,
game. Yeah,
everything.
like
They weren't
and
trying
you're
to huddle up
sit
on-
in there like Aaron Rodgers looked lost. It's like,
You remember when Aaron Jones
Bad.
got that? I think he was like just got the first down, and there was like I think like 50-some seconds. He like pops up, he turns around like all ready to go, and the offense is just walking up, and he's like, "What? Let's go, let's hurry this
Yeah.
up." Like,
well, and we've seen a lot of that this year. And again, that's all coaching. That's all coaching. We can all agree that is coaching. Matt LaFleur, there's been a lot of back and forth with him and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, Dave, if you recall at the beginning of the season, Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers got into it about play calling and how they were running the offense, and then he didn't like how the offense was being run this year. Aaron was saying that. And Matt LaFleur basically said, plays are being called by us and they will be ran. So that's the exact reason why Aaron doesn't check out. And that's
So
bad
$40
because
million a
Aaron
year
should have
doesn't-
checked out
Yeah.
because he knows better, but doesn't check out because he's having a pissing contest with his coach. And at the end of the day, neither one of these guys like each other. One of the two of them will not be there at the end of the year. Even if they make the playoffs, one of the two of them will be gone.
they ain't making a
the
playoff.
thing is, Aaron Rodgers, when he throws it away though too. So if you watch that, he could have literally just ran maybe like 3 yards and went down and made them use a timeout. He just threw it away and immediately looked right at LaFleur and was
He
like,
threw it at the feet of the guy like an
yeah,
asshole.
he's like a dick.
It
like,
was very
he's-
Philip Rivers of him.
Yeah, he's
Yes.
really like it was so spiteful. Like
It was a
he
temper
just showed him,
tantrum.
and they still win, which is pisses.
These
just
young
Aaron-
coaches, I think, just try to get too cute. They try to get like Kellen Moore. He's being talked about every year off season, like, oh, head coaching Kellen Moore, this great offensive mind. I think they try to get too cute. Same thing as Matt LaFleur. They instead of just going out and doing what you've always done for years and you know it works, they try to get cute and like, I'm gonna pull this double reverse on 3rd and 1, and then it blows up and they look like an idiot. Even when they get it, everyone's like, wow, that's a pretty daring call, but it's like, oh, it worked this time, and then you kind of just push it aside and forget it.
because it worked.
These young guys I think they get too cute. I think Kellen Moore's out there like, I could just run it, and we're averaging 7 yards a carry, but I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do a bootleg on 4th and 1
A
instead.
naked bootleg where you're not even going to have somebody stay in and block for your quarterback who just got off off the injury
broke his
list.
thumb.
It's
And
like,
I'm like,
what are you doing?
I just I can't fathom why they do that. I think they're just getting too cute with their stuff.
Is it,
I don't like
I mean,
Just
do you think these
overthinking.
coaches are just trying to outsmart everybody, and it's just ultimately
They're
it's
trying to show they're the
constantly
smartest
trying
guy in
to
the room. So they-
trying to-
100%.
yeah.
That's why the guys that consistently win in this league are the guys that have been doing it for years. They consistently do what they do year after year, and they consistently win. Why? Because they don't. It's not rocket science. If the run's working, guess what we're gonna do? Continue running the ball. It's like they just try to outthink the room. Listen, you're not smarter than everyone else. The other guys on this other sideline are just as smart as you. They know exactly what you're gonna run. You don't think they spent the last 8 hours the day before studying film on you guys? Like they do. They all do it. They all have smart guys.
Yeah, look at Andy Reid. Like the guy's been doing it for how many years now, and it's just the same thing, just over
We
and over again.
run what we run.
He wins with Donovan McNabb, and he wins with Alex Smith. He wins with Pat
Smith is
Mahomes.
great,
Like
yeah.
Just keep
Sit,
it rolling.
Bill Belichick, look at him. He wins every year, wins games. Why? Because they don't try to outthink the room. It's like real simple.
Create the consistency.
You never see
execute
Belichick
what
go,
you
well, I
do.
did this because of analytics.
No.
But if that ever comes out of Belichick, he's gone senile. We're like, all right, he's done.
Well, that's
He'll never
exactly
do that.
it. Like he's not doing that.
He won a game
Right,
throwing the ball
coaches-
3 times last year.
He did.
He
Yeah,
figures out the
absolutely
game.
did.
He's like, this is the best way we're going to win. This is how you win the game.
And that's how the Packers won the game yesterday. They at least stuck. They were down. When they were down 2 touchdowns, they stuck with a run. Everybody was like, what the hell? Aaron Jones is still running the ball. Well, yeah, no shit, he's still running the ball.
Chunking
He's getting
7
6
yards.
yards, 7 yards,
Yeah.
6 yards every time he runs the ball.
In the fourth quarter, Aaron Rodgers only had like 14 pass attempts.
Yeah, it's like they
Well,
stuck
he had-
with what was working.
What do you have at half? Aaron was tied 14, and I think Aaron Rodgers had 60 yards at half throwing. It was like 67,
Yeah,
50.
it wasn't
I don't know,
much, and
something
that's because they were
ridiculous.
getting huge.
And I looked at
chunk
that, and I'm like,
plays.
oh, shit, that's not good. And then I looked the next 6 weeks that Dallas has to play against a run. It's like Dalvin Cook, Saquon Barkley. I'm like, oh, this ain't good. I'm like, this is not good. If they can't stop the run, this is miserable.
Well, talk about a team if they're going to be able to stop the run. So tonight, the Monday night game, you've got Washington against the Eagles. The Washington defense has not stopped the run very well this year.
Right.
And the Eagles have gotten better at the running game over the last 4 weeks. I'm suspecting we're going to see that. And because of that, I feel like it's a little weird that the point spread is 11 points in this game.
Yeah. We talked about this a little bit off air. I don't understand when you have a division game like this for it to be more than 2 scores. Like, you're talking about a favorite of more than 2 scores. I get it. The Eagles are hands down better than Washington. I'm not saying that Washington's a good team. I'm just saying it's weird when you have these teams that play each other so often and they know each other backwards and forwards that a team is favored by 11 points. Whether they're at home or on the road, doesn't matter. I just don't see it. In a division game, those are usually close games. Now, it could be a blowout. I could be completely wrong. But to me, that's just weird. It's weird they're favored by more than 2 scores.
No, it's because the public's all swinging from the Eagles' nuts right now.
They're baiting the public right now
100%.
to jump on the Eagles. Like, oh, the Eagles are so much better. They're going to win by 2 touchdowns.
So you think it should be, well, if it's less, you think it should be more or less? You think the Eagles is too high, right? 11?
It's too high. Yeah,
It's way too high.
11's too high.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
But if they lowered it and everyone jumped on the Eagles still have a chance to win. Because if the Eagles end up winning by 6 or 7,
Yeah.
But right now at 11, everyone's all over the public's all over. Like, oh, they're going to win 2 touchdowns.
I just think it's really surprising because of the fact that this game is probably going to have a lot more running, at least from the Eagles side of the offense. I think they're not going to put the ball up as much.
No.
And you have Jahan Dotson returning for Washington, and you already have some of those young players that are starting to come into their own on Washington, and you're starting to find, like, look, some of these guys can actually play and run routes and are good running backs.
Terry McLaurin's, he's top 5.
He is.
That guy is
good.
insanely good.
De'Ami Brown's been nice.
He's had a few last couple of weeks have been.
Richardson,
he hasn't gotten much targets, and
you've got.
But he'll get. I think when you bring back Dotson and they start getting flow.
You got Brian Robinson's been decent handling the ball, running the ball for them, and he can catch the ball out of the backfield.
I don't agree with Brian Robinson. I think Antonio Gibson's a better running back than Brian Robinson.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that they're using him in there on those pass and run downs, and he's been able to give them that element that maybe they didn't have when he wasn't there.
Right.
Like, you start to add that in. You've got another running back there, obviously. Like, you start to put these things together. And Taylor Heineke, I mean, last year he played well. He probably should have been the starter this year.
He's playing well this year.
Right? And now he's playing well again.
I think they have probably 2 more wins if he started from the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
It's possible, yeah.
Carson Wentz is so bad.
Carson Wentz is about to be activated.
He's not even mobile at all.
Well, and
you
you don't have your best player with Chase Young. Chase Young's probably the best player on the field when he plays.
Yeah.
Almost every game that he plays. There's only very few guys. He's not coming back tonight. So that's going to be a little tough for Washington to stay in this game.
Yeah.
But if he was on the field, I would hammer 11 points. I think
I need A.J. Brown to score 78 points to beat you in the game day.
78.
And I need 50 something. So both of
not
us are
throwing
pulling
balls.
really hard.
5 touchdowns at 300 yards, and I'm right back in.
You're pulling really hard for that.
You
It's not gonna
did the
happen.
math?
Yeah.
How many receptions does he have to
It
have? What
depends.
is
If he
it?
gets a long touchdown, you get bonus points.
Yeah.
So if he gets a couple
so. He
of
only needs 22 receptions tonight.
2 90-yard touchdowns, it should do it.
Right, he slice into that
We're gonna stay in the
87
NFL.
point, right at 40, right there.
It is time for plus or minus, though. We're going to talk about a little bit of investment opportunity. Not a ton this week for you. We've got some great product coming out next month, and we'll kind of get into that because I think there's some investment opportunities into some of the basketball product that's coming out here soon. And I think that there is. But he's in practice. He's back on the field. Deshaun Watson will start this week against the Texans. NFL rights
amazing.
like no
It's
one's
amazing.
money. The theater is unbelievable.
Definitely
By
not
the
on
way,
purpose.
the massage therapist
Definitely
convention
not
just
on
went and
purpose.
happened, so that was great in Cleveland.
Really?
Yeah.
It
While
really is.
Deshaun Watson was off, it really did happen.
Did they?
It's so great. But Deshaun Watson, I want to talk about him for a minute. Good opportunity right now. If you sat on a bunch of Deshaun Watson stuff or you bought him when he was incredibly low and you're looking for an opportunity, and in this market right now, I wouldn't pump the brakes on an opportunity. I think he goes out, he wins this week, puts up a couple 100 yards, 1 or 2 touchdowns. He's going to be nothing but the talk for the next 10 days. So if that happens, very, very good opportunity for you. So some advice here that you guys can use. If you're using like the marketplaces, like the Facebooks and stuff like that, Saturday, go and pop your listings up. Deshaun Watson, put a high number on it, or best offer. Let it marinate, let all the offers come in, and wait until after game time, see what happens with Deshaun Watson. Or 2, get your stuff up in 3-day auctions just before, so they're ending Sunday evening around the time of the Sunday night kickoff. It's a good opportunity for you to take advantage of people that'll be hunting for him, quickly right there, and to get an opportunity. Those are two things that I would highly suggest to you guys. I think Deshaun Watson is an absolute opportunity to sell right now. I don't know that if you want to be buying him at this moment. I think if you're planning on buying Deshaun Watson, your plan to buy him is probably going to be after the season, and especially if the Browns don't end up making the playoffs, that'll be a good opportunity to buy him. I think we all sit here, and I don't think any of us are going to knock him as a quarterback and say he's not going to be able to play. I think we all have high expectations of him. But what do you guys think? What's your thoughts on Deshaun Watson?
The Browns play the Bills this
So,
week.
Yeah, so the
No, it's 2 weeks.
It's 2 weeks.
2 weeks,
Sorry,
yeah.
I
Can't
said this
play.
week, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's 2 weeks.
He's practicing this week, and then he gets to come back.
December 4th
Yes,
is the
December
game he comes
4th.
back. December 4th
Correct.
against the Texans. So,
So I'm sorry,
they
not
have,
this week, the following.
Correct, yeah. They play
Yes.
the Bills this week,
Yes,
which, that should be a tough game
So it's
for
2
the
weeks.
Browns there.
It's
2 weeks.
this week, not
Yes.
this week. Next week and the
Thanksgiving
week
weekend.
after.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, because they play the Bucks.
Yeah, they play
week
the Bills.
12.
Is
The Bills,
that what
Bucks,
it,
and
okay.
Texans.
Why did I think it was this week? I
Third,
haven't said that
because
to
he's
you yet.
technically he's allowed to come back today,
Yeah.
Monday. So it's based on what the NFL and Roger
Yeah, so
Goodell's
he can
whole
practice 2
crazy
weeks,
ass
correct,
asshole
practice
math,
2 weeks
whatever.
before his. But what the point is here, guys, is that if you've got this stuff, the time now, like they're going to start talking.
You're
to
going
him,
to see his name pop
but
up.
his
and all
name's
of a sudden-
popping up, but more importantly is going to be taking advantage of timing. Now, that's not something we often talk about when we're talking about selling stuff, of like you planning to time to sell it. But in this case, if he goes out and he has a decent game against the Texans, if you have listings up, if you have stuff in the marketplace, it is going to be being looked for, and you're going to have a good opportunity to maximize your numbers on it. And it's going to be, if you bought it in the last year, probably significantly under, what you paid for it at this point. So I do think that Deshaun Watson is one of the ones that you're going to want to start selling for, and start looking at that. And then I think you can also start looking at, if you want to start buying somebody, I think it's probably a safe time. You could probably start buying a little bit of the Trey Lance. We sold Trey Lance off earlier this year, right? Mm-hmm. Now it's kind of like you could buy him back because, again, going into next season, I think we're going to have a whole nother quarterback controversy discussion of the 49ers. Is he going to start? Garoppolo, what's the deal? You're going to have that whole scenario run again. And you saw what it did for his market. So before the end of the season, this kind of reminds me of last year when I was saying, like, buy Jalen Hurts and, like, all that. This is an opportunity for you to be buying him when people are looking to sell off big cards. They're trying to sell these big cards that they're way, way over their heads in, and they're willing to just kind of take what they can get for him. So it might be an opportunity to snag a couple of deals for him, and then when he comes back this next year, preseason, he gets out on the field, you might be able to move that and make some money off that.
Yeah, because you're looking at Garoppolo. My pick is the Niners are going to be the one team that comes out of the West. So you have Garoppolo taking that team to the playoffs yet again, and if they end up making any kind of noise in the playoffs whatsoever, it's going to be like, oh, Garoppolo got us there again. You know what I mean? So that's the type of thing. Is like it's going to be that controversy once again, the Lance Garoppolo controversy in the offseason.
Well, it wasn't really a
Sometimes people say
controversy
sell
last
him,
year.
Yeah.
It wasn't a controversy this year. Trey Lance already had the job. They were trying to get rid of Garoppolo.
Well,
It
No,
wasn't a controversy.
controversy.
It was whether they were going to keep him or get rid of him.
Oh, yeah, but he had no chance of starting if Trey Lance is
But
healthy.
Dave,
He has
the
no
fact
chance.
the fact that they
No.
kept him instead of trying to trade him when they had a chance to
So
trade him.
if
just
they
got rid
win
of
the
They
him.
didn't
Super
get
Bowl
the
this
offer they
year,
wanted.
if
That's
they
the
win the
only way
Super Bowl
Garoppolo
this year,
stays on.
does he stay?
That's the only way.
If they win,
If the Niners win the Super Bowl this year, do they keep Garoppolo and move Trey Lance?
I
Well,
think
they
you have
signed him
to.
to a one-year deal, right?
I think you have to.
Well, you have to.
This
If
is
you're-
it.
If
This
you're
is Garoppolo's
Garoppolo,
last year.
This
This
is the thing. If you're Garoppolo
You
and
cash
that
in.
happens,
You leave and cash
no,
in.
you're leaving and cashing out. You're absolutely.
And you're going to
cashing
play
out.
for the Texans? Really? Is that what you want to do?
Well,
You're probably
Giants.
gonna.
There's no way
probably
the
gonna
Te-
be the quarterback.
The Texans gave up. I mean, the 49ers gave up way too much to get Trey Lance. They're not going to. It's not happening. They're going to look like assholes if they
But
keep
the point,
Garoppolo and get
my
rid of
point
Trey
behind
Lance.
it
There's
is
no
to say
way.
you get the controversy, you get the discussion. The guy is featured all the time. He's constantly talked about. It's a good opportunity to take advantage of it, and where that'll be a spot where everybody will be kind of like looking again to buy Trey Lance because now he's going to be healthy.
Right.
And it's what have you done for me lately, league, obviously. So with that said, Deshaun going to be coming back, and I made the move in fantasy, but let's go ahead and talk about it really quick. Jay's fantasy roundup.
Now you're leaving?
Yeah, my
Right in
teams
the
are so
fantasy?
much better than yours. I beat you by 80. I should be the fantasy expert.
I still have AJ Brown going.
I should be the fantasy expert. I beat you by 80.
And your team is not. Your team's behind me. Still.
I should be heads up. I beat you by 80. I should be the expert.
You're welcome for getting you so high up at ESPN, by the way.
It's time for Jay's fantasy roundup. What was that?
Yeah, I know. Right in the middle of my fantasy roundup.
That's why he did it.
So a couple weeks ago, Justin Fields, we told you to go pick him up on the waivers. Now we're mentioning Deshaun Watson, like you talked about. You still have a couple weeks away, so he's probably going to be on waivers out there.
Yep.
Now is your time to go get him, stash him on your bench, especially if you're weak at quarterback. You're obviously not going to play him because he's got 2 more weeks that he has to sit. But go grab him early before your other teammates in your league find out about it. Another couple of guys we want to talk about. Cole Kmet. Like, I usually don't mention tight ends on the fantasy because I'm not a big fan of the tight end position in fantasy. But this dude has been on fire ever since Justin Fields caught on fire. And I know that that's the big target that you want to go after. So everyone talks about how he has no target or he has no weapons out there. He only has Darnell Mooney. But Cole Kmet is the guy that's actually killing it right now since Justin Fields has been on fire. So go out and get that guy. 2 running backs I want to mention. I've talked about this guy before, Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah.
We've talked about him a lot before. CEH had 2 targets and 0 carries in yesterday's
Yeah, what's
game
going on
for
with
the
that?
Chiefs.
Well, are they just saving him for the rest of the season or something? I don't get it. He's
He
that
sucks.
bad?
He's not good at pass protection.
Okay,
and
that's
they're
bad.
trying to use him. If you guys remember when the draft happened, everyone was shocked that they took CEH with a 32nd pick, a first-round pick, right? And then Andy Reid came out later and said that Pat Mahomes messaged me and said he really wanted him. Go get this kid.
Yeah.
Well, then they tried to make him something he wasn't. They tried to make him a goal line back and a short yardage guy. That's not what he was at LSU. He was a wide receiver in a running back body. He's a very good pass catcher, but they're trying to make him into this stud running back. That's not him. That's just not him. So they're trying to make him. He would be better off, and I'm not saying he's garbage. He would be better off with a fresh start on a new team. And I know that's crazy to say. Leaving the Chiefs would be better for him.
First round pick, so he still's got
Right. He's got 1 more year, right?
2 if they pick up the option.
If they pick up the option.
Yes.
So he would be better off going somewhere else and getting a fresh start. But I like this Pacheco kid because he's really good at pass protection. The dude fumbled and literally handed the ball to the defender, it looked like. And he still got all the rest of the playing time. So that shows you how long of a leash this guy has. Andy Reid trusts him that much. And then Rashad White. That dude killed it yesterday for Tampa Bay in the early game in Germany.
Yeah.
He went over 100 yards for the first time in his career. Leonard Fournette came out with a hip contusion, but they have a bye week coming up, so he'll probably be back after that 1 week of rest. Christian Watson, another guy to go out and pick up. He only had 4 catches for 107 yards, but he had 3 touchdowns. So obviously Aaron Rodgers was looking for this kid, and somebody has to step up in this Green Bay offense as a wide receiver. You can't just have 2 running backs and nothing else. Like, somebody has to step up. That could be Christian Watson. And then also going on the whole Deshaun Watson deal, OBJ is out there, and you know he's going to be signing. He's already talking about 4 or 5 teams he's interested in. He's trying to whittle those down to just a couple. So he's getting close.
How much money does he want? Because I keep hearing all
I
these different
don't
rumors.
know how much he wants.
Somebody said he wanted $20 million.
I just know he wants to go to a
It's like
contender.
half the season.
He won't, though. He won't. No one's going to sign him for that much.
It's ridiculous.
The only team that would sign
That's
him for that
awesome.
much is somebody that's not contending. That's not what he wants to do. So another OBJ is another guy you want to go out and get. Just real quick, Cooper Kupp injury. I don't know if we're going to talk about that at all, but that was heartbreaking because this dude's an absolute stud. Everyone's talking about, oh, Justin Jefferson is the best receiver, Devontae Adams. Cooper Kupp every season, dude, it just goes out there and just does his work. And the video you see and the replay you see, it kind of cuts off his ankle a little bit, so you couldn't see how bad it got rolled. But to me, if there's not a broken bone in his fibula, it's probably going to be a high ankle sprain. And if it's that bad of a high ankle
I
sprain,
think that's what they diagnosed.
he could miss
it.
4 to 6 weeks, I think.
Which is almost the rest of the season.
Correct. And they're not even in the
They're not
playoff
making
hunt, so
playoffs.
why rush him back in week 16 or 17?
Yeah.
He could be done for the year. And one guy that is done for the year, Zach Ertz. Hurt his knee, out for the season. He's done. They've already
Saw that
moved him
live.
out. Yeah, so Cooper Kupp, those are 2 real big injuries.
Who do you like on the
team.
Rams? Then?
What?
Do you like anybody wide receiver wise?
Ben
on the Rams?
Skowronek is a guy that is going to get a lot of Cooper Kupp's.
What do you think Van Jefferson?
Ben Skowronek is a wide receiver.
He's
He's a wide receiver.
he's a fullback in their game plan.
Yeah,
but
well,
no, they use him in the slot.
Taysom
sometimes.
Hill's a tight end also, but he ain't a goddamn tight end.
That's
So
what I'm saying.
he's
though,
the guy
that
that you go out and get because right now you had Van Jefferson that just came back from injury.
Yeah.
I know they still have Tutu Atwell, which the jury's still out.
No,
on him.
I
He's a
like
little
Van
small
Jefferson.
guy.
I think Van Jefferson.
Van Jefferson, Allen Robinson, the forgotten guy there, and then you have obviously Vince Garone.
When you
He's
had
gonna be that.
Stafford was hurt in that game. You
Yeah.
also had Kyler Murray didn't play in that
Wasn't
game.
it the craziest game?
Can you
All of a
imagine
sudden, it's
paying
like
for
two
tickets and
backup.
You see
Yeah.
John Wolford versus Colt McCoy.
Yeah, that's what
And
we
on
were
top
saying.
of
We were
it,
like, what the hell just happened?
I mean,
Where are these
what
guys?
was the injury with Kyler? Because I'm a little.
I watched Hard Knocks,
I don't
too.
understand.
Was it his knee? What was it? It was his knee.
It-
I just
no,
don't
it was
understand.
no, it was his
It was something
hamstring.
with his
It
leg.
was his hamstring.
Okay, something with
He
his leg.
pulled his
He
hamstring in the
was
game the week before on
scratch.
Hard Knocks.
Because they
Right.
said that he was going to go out before the game and try to give it a walkthrough
Yeah.
and see how it felt, and they said he was still moving around gingerly, so
Yeah.
they decided to take caution and just sit him.
Yeah, the Hard Knocks was great though. Man,
I
that
didn't
was
watch
good.
it.
You haven't watched it yet?
No. Is it good?
One of the best
Cardinals
episodes.
ones?
One of the best episodes ever.
They talk about Call of Duty.
No, they just yell at each other.
Oh, they do?
Literally scream at each other.
Murray and
Oh,
Hopkins got into it.
oh yeah, but it's like you hear it and it's great. And then Buda Baker's yelling at everybody and everybody follows him. They're like, "I'll die for this guy."
I gotta watch.
Yeah,
it.
you got. It was great. It was
gotta watch
really good.
Well, I mean, I love train wrecks in sports.
Oh, that's a
That's what I'm
train
saying.
wreck. On the sideline, he's like,
Yeah.
"Come on, man!" He's like, "I'm wide." He's like, "I'm looking for you." Like they're like yelling at each other, and
Hopkins
Kingsbury's
and-
trying to like Cliff
Yeah.
Kingsbury's trying to
Right.
reel them all in, and it's
When you gotta deal as a coach, when you gotta deal with that many dynamic personalities,
Mhm.
Yeah,
that could be really tough.
yeah. You're talking get rid of Benjamin for no reason.
Yeah.
they show him going down the middle of the he puts his arm up, nobody's around him,
Did it
and he's
say-
like, "Come on, man!" Like he just immediately like it looks bad.
I want to see. So it's every week, right?
It's every week for the rest of like they did last year with the Colts.
Okay, so I
It's
want
the
to
same
see
thing.
next week's episode and find out what the hell
Oh,
happened
shit.
with Eno Benjamin.
Oh
Eno Benjamin was a starting running back while James Conner got hurt for
Yeah.
Arizona, and he did
Yeah.
well. Like he
Yeah.
had 2 really good
He
games.
looked good.
And he's been the backup there for a couple of years. All of a sudden, they just released him today, just out of nowhere. No story, no backstory. I know there's gonna be a backstory that comes out, but right now there's no backstory.
I saw he was
He
released, but
just
he didn't
said
say anything. He was like,
Cardinals release Eno Benjamin for what?
didn't
on
he
his-
start?
He's on his rookie contract. He
Yeah.
was a starter the last 2 weeks until James Conner got back from injury. But Keontae Ingram is now the lone guy that's back there. I know they signed Darrell Williams, but he hasn't done anything this
No.
year. But Keontae Ingram's now the backup, and you just get rid of Eno Benjamin. It wasn't like it was a money saving deal because he's
No,
on his
yeah.
rookie contract still,
Right.
and he's a hometown guy. He went to Arizona State. I don't understand.
Usually
I
when you
can't
see
wait to
that
find
stuff,
out.
usually you see that stuff.
Something
there's some trouble. Like
Right.
there's something that happened, and you saying he went to Arizona State, that might just right there tell you that he's got enough people
Already.
in the hometown, and
Yeah.
could be a problem. Awards. It's awards season for
Yeah, it is.
Major League Baseball. It is awards week. You're going to start seeing the announcement of all the big awards. These are your finalists for the Rookie of the Year, which is the big talk. I believe that is today, if not tomorrow, that they vote on it.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to get your guys' take on what you thought. So American League, you got Stephen Kwan, you got Julio Rodriguez, you got Adley Rushman, and the National League, you've got Harris, Strider, and
That's it.
What's the kid's name from? I can't remember the.
No, look,
He won a Gold Glove. I can't remember.
I
his
looked
name.
up the odds.
The
I looked
Cardinals.
up the odds, right?
Yes.
It's really bad.
It's not even close.
It's not even close.
It's literally Michael Harris
Yeah.
is the favorite.
Yeah.
He's
Yes.
minus 275.
Yeah.
This is on Vegas Insider, so it's
Yeah.
on odds. Okay, so and then Spencer
Well,
Strider
I can tell you,
plus 225.
I just got the live. I just got it. Did you
You
get
got
it?
it live?
Okay, we got the announcement. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on,
I'm
wait
sorry,
for a
I didn't know.
second.
Let him
I
finish
didn't know.
this so
Yeah.
you can tell
Yeah.
us.
And then on the American League side, it's literally Julio Rodriguez minus 3,000. The next closest guy is Adley Rushman at plus 1,100. Everybody else is plus 25,000.
And the guy that
So they're not
should have been
winning.
in the mix, but because of his injuries, was Jeremy Pena.
Yeah,
And
he was
he
plus
didn't-
50,000.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he wasn't in the final three.
Mhm.
So before we get into you telling me this is what my take was, Michael Harris being the favorite in the National League. The part of that is because he was a position player and just seen on a regular basis.
Yeah.
However, I mentioned this before that the writers have a tendency to vote with history.
Mhm.
And Spencer Strider was the first pitcher fastest to 200 strikeouts. He broke a Randy Johnson record as a rookie this year, beating him by, I think it was like 2/3 of an inning to 200 strikeouts. So
2/3 of an inning.
just beat
Great.
him by 2/3 of
So
an
they
inning.
only,
great.
they only did the American League, not the.
So far, I only got the
I think
American
it might
League.
be, maybe it's American League today, National League tomorrow,
Yeah.
and so on. In the American League, I think we all kind of knew that Julio was running away with it at
Yeah,
that
it's not even
point.
close.
Adley Rushman didn't
nice
hit
story.
didn't hit enough power And I think they kind of knew
Plus
that
the
that was
All-Star
gonna happen.
game and the home run derby really put Julio on the
Yeah,
map.
they
That was
put
like
Julio
his
on the map.
coming out party kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like
And
everybody
it was nice
saw
what
it. It was
Baltimore
great to
did,
watch too, right? I mean, it was
nice
great
what
to watch.
Baltimore did, but you did. And then there, obviously, Stephen Kwan. Stephen Kwan's a nice story. Good
Great.
player.
He wasn't even in a top
Right?
50 Indians prospect.
No, he
top
wasn't.
50, not the league, not the American League,
Yeah.
not even MLB, just the Indians.
Indians alone.
Dave,
Organization.
When the season started and he had that like 7-game hitting streak and he was batting like 700, he didn't have a card out.
No, his
didn't have
first
a card
card was
out.
in Archives 2022, sorry.
Yep.
And then the next one was in Topps Update.
Exactly.
And then everybody's going after those cards, obviously,
Right.
but, you know.
Didn't even have a card though.
They didn't
Great
even have a
story.
card.
And then guys that we don't talk about that aren't on this list that are way down there, Suzuki
Mm-hmm.
for the National League, not even being talked about.
Plus 50,000.
Because he just didn't quite have the season I think they thought that he would have as he did at the beginning of the year.
Right.
And, you know, scouting reports are everything, right?
Yeah.
Advanced scouting is key. So with that said, Dave, American League Rookie of the Year is
Shocking, Julio Rodriguez.
Julio Rodriguez.
Rookie
What's
of the
shocking
year.
about it is not that he won it, but it wasn't unanimous. He got 29 of 30 votes. Someone gave him a second place vote.
So that means the guy for the Washington
21-year-old. Jeez.
The guy for the Washington Post voted for Adley Rushman.
Why does
Adley
it say
Rushman
that?
got one,
Yeah, he
one-
did.
I
yeah.
guarantee you that's who it was. It was the guy that is the beat writer for the
Beat out
Nationals,
Russian,
right? Or the Orioles,
Orioles.
out of
29,
Washington for the
so
Washington
it-
Post because he
Yeah.
would have a vote. He'd be the guy.
Yeah.
So I'll bet you that's what it is.
You're talking about 20.
That's just,
how
you
is
know,
that not unanimous though?
That's
Like,
just,
seriously?
that's asinine. Whoever gave him the other one is just being an asshole.
Right.
And
I mean,
his
it
name will
happens
come
all the
out, and they'll be trolling him and all this other shit. He just did it to
So-
do it. Like, he had no logic behind it. I guarantee his logic is just asinine.
The second thing to talk about the National League here. I don't know how much of Harris that you guys watched. Really nice player. He's exciting. Something that's interesting about him is he's 6th in WAR for rookies coming out, right? 6th overall to Mike Trout, to Harper, to all these big players
Wow.
over the years, and he's right there. And when you see comparisons like this, I like to say that's a really good opportunity to find a player that's going to have longevity, someone that you probably can expect to run this back again. When you see those type things, when they get into that type of company. I remember when Miguel Cabrera came up, and
Oh, I
he
remember.
started and then they started matching up all the numbers with
Yeah.
like other
He was 20.
like, superstars
He's really young.
and where he was based on those superstars, and he was like
Mm-hmm.
ahead of like, you know, guys like Frank Thomas and stuff at
He
the
was
start of his
amazing.
career.
He hit the 2-run home run to win the World Series. I was
Yeah.
we were watching it,
Yeah.
me, you, and your brother
Yeah.
watching together.
But they ended up being.
He hit it off Roger
five-
Clemens, opposite field. He gets knocked down, gets up, hits an opposite field 2-run home run. I was like, well, okay, this kid's legit.
And you know, you see stuff like that. So Michael Harris is very legit.
Mhm.
He's very good. And I've gone on the record multiple times saying number 2 right now in Major League Baseball today. Number 2, in my opinion, is Spencer Strider. Number 1 is Jacob deGrom. Number 2 is Spencer Strider. Strider's stuff is
Strider
that
bunk
good.
Alcantara for you?
He did.
Uh-oh.
What?
He did.
No.
I told you that I really liked Alcantara.
Yeah.
And I've liked Alcantara.
He was your number 2 for the longest
When I
time.
watched the last 7 starts
No.
of Spencer Strider, right?
I knew that would get you fired
How
up.
many
know.
complete games
I
does
know.
Spencer Strider have? Let's figure this out real fast.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. You
We're
had a
gonna go through this
bullpen. You had a
real
bullpen that
fast.
required your guys to go deep.
Yeah, and he lost 4 games because of the bullpen. 4 games. And I'm probably being generous.
And don't get me wrong, I love Cabrera, and I've said that.
Alcantara.
Or Alcantara. I'm thinking of Edward Cabrera.
Yeah.
Alcantara. I really like him, but after watching Spencer Strider do what he did over the last 7 starts in the regular season, not the playoff game, right? But because he didn't pitch well in the playoffs, but over the last 7 games of the season, that's a guy that has stuff that he can get better with. Alcantara already finishes a lot of those pitches.
Yeah, he's pretty
Spencer Strider's stuff is so good, he can miss with it and still be better than the next guy up.
But not the Phillies. Couldn't be
You
the
know.
Phillies.
No, he didn't. He did not. Not a lot of teams did beat the Phillies. at
It was
that point.
fun. It was fun to watch.
It was really good. No, and then I'm right there with you as far
Mhm.
as Alcantara is very good. But Spencer Strider, I think this
He
might
figured
end
it
up-
out earlier than Alcantara.
Well, he
figured
came
it
out of the
earlier.
bullpen. You have to understand. He
Right,
came out of
but-
the bullpen. Alcantara
Yeah,
started.
but he's still a rookie. But Alcantara's been in the league like, what,
right.
5 years now?
But Alcantara Strider came out of the bullpen
Correct.
and started.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is that Michael Harris and Strider both have only 1 year of professional baseball under their belt before they were called up.
Yeah, see,
They both
Alcantara
played
was he started with the Cardinals, then he moved up, and then
Yeah.
he was back and forth and back whatever. But
Yeah. But it's cool to see. We know
he's
Abraham's
like
going to win
what
it.
4 years older
right?
than him too, right? 4 or 5 years older.
I'm leaning a little heavier towards Spencer Strider only because of the fact that I think that the voters will vote with history. I just think they will, even though I know Michael Harris is the favorite. That's my opinion. But what do you guys think?
I think Michael Harris wins.
I think Michael Harris wins it too. I saw LeBron.
I always look at the sports books.
LeBron just came
That's
out
all
and
I
said that Julio Rodriguez is going to win the NBA, or he's going to win the Rookie of the Year in 2016 when he saw him in Little League. So
Here we go.
The fact that LeBron called that, I
God,
give
does he
credit.
live rent free in your head, LeBron
No,
James?
the fact that
Does he
he called-
literally live rent free?
The
Does
fact that he
LeBron
called
James
that
have a 2-bedroom condo
in
living in your head right now?
2016 because he saw Julio Rodriguez playing Little League.
Oh my
That's
God.
amazing.
I mean, you couldn't.
Kudos
I
to him.
knew that was coming. I
does.
swear to you, he lives rent free, Jay.
All right.
God,
Final thing for this week that I have is shout out to the Hoodie. Hoodie put in 21 tickets on Saturday. All of them parlays. All of them hedged on one particular sporting event to happen, and that was every single parlay that he had 21 straight parlays had Adesanya winning straight up until Pereira knocked him out.
Why
he
would
lost.
he tie
I spent
every
so
single one?
much
tickets.
effing money.
He-
Like, I don't even like. This is so agitating to me because like everybody thinks everybody's guaranteed to win. Like they don't play sports anymore. Like that's a 20. That is literally a 20-year-old talking.
Yeah.
Like that's how Hoodie was talking. Like that's a 20-year-old talking. Like he's
21
never seen an upset ever.
He tied everything
it's-
to that one.
Yeah, and then
21 tickets all
I
had
would
him
never
winning.
do that. Like,
and it's not like he was minus like 700. It was like I don't know, minus 220 to 250 or something like that. So it wasn't even that crazy or outrageous. Like if he was minus 700 and you wanted to make an outrageous stand, I'd be like, oh okay, that's fine. But minus, I was like, I mean, all day he was like, man, Alcantara's gonna kill him. That's my favorite fighter. Well, that's the first problem right there.
You bet in your favor.
Right, there's me betting Dallas. So there, I learned a
Right.
lesson this weekend again at 42.
UFC.
But anywhere, yeah. So they were going back and forth all day, and here's me just betting now. Yeah, he gets.
Dude,
I was like, oh
gets,
my
and
gosh.
Adesanya loses. And the thing is that Pereira has actually, this is, I believe, the third time he's beat Adesanya. They beat him in a kickboxing before
Yeah.
UFC,
Mm-hmm.
beat him in the UFC, giving Adesanya his only loss,
Mm-hmm.
and then comes back and beats him again. Sometimes that one guy
Yeah.
Just owns
has
it.
your ticket.
Yeah.
They say Pereira is his kryptonite, and that's kind of going to be his thing, right? It's going to be Adesanya's kryptonite. But I'll tell you what, because of that, there were some sports books that took some baths on that fight because,
They made a lot of Hoodie though.
well, they made a lot of footy, but there's some sports
I don't think
books
it
that took
balanced
some
it out.
baths because
I don't think Hoodie bet
a
$700,000.
lot of people came in late on the fact that he hadn't beat Pereira and bet the Pereira side after the line move. So
It's a good bet.
It's a smart.
If I
play
knew
right
anything
now.
about UFC, maybe I would know more. But I just was just.
I was
I was like, I'll throw it on whatever. And
And and I'm gonna
Never
give
really
myself a little bit of my fault when Hoodie put out that he did that. I was gonna respond. He's lost twice to Pereira, and then I didn't.
Oh, he
do
knew.
that.
He knew.
And I should have.
It's
It's his favorite fighter. Oh, he knows.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Third time's a charm.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, in the UFC, we'll see if third time's charm because they'll be fighting again. I guarantee
Yeah,
you.
they will. We've got new slabs that just came in today. A lot of really great stuff. Johnny Vercook will be on tonight with some slabs, some product. I think he's got some select FOTL also.
Yeah.
I saw that brought in.
Absolutely.
There's some stuff that we've got that's coming out, so guys, make sure you do that. Of course, check out the shows. We also have the Front Row Card Show coming up here Black Friday weekend here in Las Vegas, so we will be involved with that. We will be at the show, and we will also have a Black Friday sale. You can start looking for some of that information over the next week or
Yeah,
so.
we'll have
Doorbusters?
a lot of like soccer, baseball, hockey, We have a lot of football optic packs we're going to give away. We're going to drop a lot of prices
A
here.
lot of opportunity to snag some stuff
Well,
really cheap, and be able to do it, give you some things. And,
Jerseys.
You're shopping for the man cave.
Yeah.
You're definitely gonna have an opportunity for that as
The
well.
Emmett's mine already.
And
Jay,
you
so
guys are
can't
gonna
get that
see,
one.
us starting to image the memorabilia onto the website over the next week or so you'll be able to see some of that there as well. But we do have some of that stuff coming up, so make sure you follow the social medias, check it out. We've got shows every single day on Whatnot, so please make sure that you guys check in on that. Otherwise, you get to take us out this week.
What do you mean?
He doesn't know.
Yes, you do. What
I
do you
don't
wanna
know.
say?
Let's
what's
go!
the catchphrase? Let's go.
Oh, Monster Hunting. Oh, let's go Monster Hunting. Okay.
I had to get him.
I thought
Let's
I
go,
needed to come
guys.
up with my own catchphrase.
Oh, we should.
Oh, should we put him on
Goodell sucks.
No, we know what it
Can I
is.
do that? Can we redo it? Can we redo
Starts
it?
with an M and ends with an
Let's
Guys,
go
let's go.
Monster Hunting.
We'll see you next week. And Godfather's completely out of the building. Just throwing that out. He's completely gone.
Dang,
He
actually
straight
left.
ghosted.
I think he had to go.
He ghosted.
Wow.
No, it's good. Anyways, guys, we will see you next week. Thanks for being here. And
He
yeah,
just
let's
left.
go.